welcome to my review of the Chord Mojo. Chord is a company that has a very high reputation amongst audiophiles for products like the Yugo TT, and other of their even more expensive DACs and other audiophile products. Now, for the first time, Chord produces a DAC amp, which is sold for £399 in the UK, or around 2,000 dirhams in the UAE and the Gulf region. So it's a very, very approachable product. It is much cheaper than other products from Chord, and I think it's equally good. But let me talk about the sound quality and everything else later. Let me show you the device first. It's packaged here. You get the device and a small USB cable. USB to micro USB. And that's it. There is no manual in the box because the box is the manual. You see here specifications on one side, important information on the other, a color code, which I explained to you later as well, of the buttons that will light up in different colors, and the instructions on the bottom. All you need. It's a very straightforward device. Anyhow, let me go to the device. Here you see the Mojo. It's probably not coming across that well on the video, in the video, but it is a very heavy, very, very solid feeling DAC and amp. It's made of beautiful aluminium with a satin finish. It feels very solid and very well made. Looks probably like plastic for you, but it is very good and very nice aluminium, and it feels extremely solid and good. As you can see, it's Chord Mojo, 3 buttons. These are turning balls, but they're actually, as you might hear, buttons you can press. So, to explain the functions, you have a volume rocker, plus and minus, power on and power off. On this side, you have the inputs. One is an optical input, one is the battery charger, micro USB, and one is a micro USB for data, the music, and one coax entry input for digital SPDIF in a coax format and not optical format. So you basically can feed this DAC with all digital content in 3 different variations, in USB, coax, or optical. There is no line-in, so that means you cannot use the amp of the Mojo by itself. You always have to feed it with digital content, meaning that it's always working as a DAC and amp combined. The DAC chip inside the Mojo is an FCPGA, I hope I pronounced that right, programmable field array. So it's not a DAC chip off the shelf, it's a DAC that is created entirely on this chip with a program to buy Chord with all their many years of experience of sound reproduction. And you can really hear that. Now, let me show you how that works. You push and hold this button, and the Mojo switches on. As you can see, it was a bit of rainbow colors until it's fully booted up. Now it is. This light is off, and these 2 buttons show with their color the volume level that you have selected. So as you can see, the color changes. Oops, that's better. Depending on which volume you chose. So it goes in different colors. Very high. And the other way around if it goes lower. Let's start with low to be safe. So, there we go. Right. I forgot to tell you that on this side are 2 headphone outputs. That means you can listen to the Mojo with your friend, with your wife, with everybody else you want to share your music with, thanks to the 2 3.5mm outputs. You can also set the Mojo to line out. You do that by holding these 2 buttons when the device is switched off and then switching it on. And then these headphone outputs will be switched to a 3-volt line out output, which is good if you want to connect the Mojo to a separate amplifier. Now, this Mojo has a couple of really cool features, as you can see in the specifications. It has 720 milliwatts of driving power into 8 ohms, and still 35 milliwatts into 600 ohms, which is quite powerful for such a small and easy to carry device. Now, let me connect it to a computer and show you how it will look. This is a computer USB cable. I connect it here. And as you can see immediately, this lights up the moment there's music being played. Let me start some music. All right, there you go. All right, here we go. At the moment it's playing 16-bit 440 kilohertz, and you see this in the color. As you can see on the box, this button will light up in different colors depending on the different frequencies it's fed. So let me see that you'll see it right. If I switch it to a song that has a higher resolution, for example this one, you see here we are going to 88 kilohertz, and it changes color. Here we have a 192 24-bit, so it should be blue, and it is. So here you go. It shows you the frequency thanks to the colors with which signal it's fed. And then of course here your volume. In my experience, from a sound quality perspective, I was pretty impressed of how this device sounds. I fed it via USB from my computer, or, which you also can do, if you use this little USB cable. Oops, I switched the music off. And you have an Apple device, for example an iPhone, which I have here. The only thing you need is an Apple camera connection kit or Apple to Lightning to USB connector. And with that, connect it to the Mojo. There you go. And you can play music directly from your iPhone and use the good sound quality of the Mojo for it. There are shorter cables with which you can connect the Mojo easier, but what you're using here technically is you're using the iPhone just as a transport. So that means the digital analog conversion and amplifier of the Mojo is used. It is not using any of these parts of the iPhone. All of it is done on the Mojo, and you enjoy the better sound quality that the Mojo can bring you. Other possibilities to connect. Imagine you have a digital audio player, like this is a Hydis AP100. Then you can actually use the output, the coax output. Also a digital connection. You just need to connect this here. Let's play something. Oops. Any music is good. It's an MP3. So, and as you can see, digital output music will be playing. The Mojo sounds fantastic with in-ears, as you can hear now. Let's put some music on. Okay, not so sure if it's good music for you, but anyhow, so I have here the RHA T20, which sounds beautifully with it. But the Mojo can of course drive even bigger headphones, which I'll come to you in a second. This is the coax connection. Let me show you the last connection that you can use if you're not using a DAC that has a coax out, which is again using this player only as a transport. Only the files are being stored here, where transport digitally to the Mojo, who does all the processing and the amplification. You can also use a player like this one here, which is a Astral & Kern AK100. So this little player has an optical output here where the headphones go in. So if you connect this via a cable that has these things, one is an optical input here, but in a 3.5mm form. Connected here. I just start playing something. You can see here that there is Oops. Music coming out. And connected, and there you go. And it's playing the music via the Mojo. This is an optical cable. Again, this is unfortunately quite a long cable, which doesn't make it very portable, but you can actually use it with a short cable. There are companies that create specifically for the Mojo very short cables, so you can basically stack them very easily together and use these two connections here. All right, now let me get to the sound quality. Right, I tried, talking about sound quality, I tried the Mojo with a couple of headphones in the recent few days. A lot of in-ears, like I showed before, like a TH20, some balanced armature, some dynamic drivers, and all of them sounded brilliant with it. The Mojo has no problem driving them to their fullest capacity. There's a lot of power available from the Mojo, driving any kind of in-ears. Even multi-balanced armature drivers are no problem. Very sensitive ones are no problem. I never had any hiss or anything else. Charging here on the Mojo takes around 4 hours to fully charge it. First charge should be a bit longer, and it lasts up to 8 to 10 hours. So I went to 2 full days in the office listening on and off with it without having to recharge it. Okay, other headphones I used was my old and trusty Biodynamic T90 headphones with a, I don't know if you can see it somewhere here. It's not mentioned here. It's a 250 ohm headphone, which requires a lot of power, which was driven fantastically well by it. My Oppo PM3, which I loved to hear with the Mojo. It's the Mojo sound signature is very musical and very organic. So you have a nice full sound, which brings out a lot of the bottom end that the PM3 is able to produce, but not necessarily produces with all amplifiers. But with the Mojo, I think it sounded exceptionally well, a bit on the warm side, but lovely. Plenty of detail, without ever being harsh in the treble, and a very, very musical and pleasant sound. With the HD 650 Sennheiser, again, a beautiful pairing. This is a 300 ohm dynamic driver headphone, while the PM3 is a planar magnetic headphone that is easier driven, but needs a lot of current into 32 ohms. Sennheiser 300 ohms needs a bit more power in a high ohm range, and the Mojo delivers. I also tried the Mojo with other planar magnetic headphones like the Odyssey LCD2 and the HiFiMan HE560. I must say, I think that's where the limits of a portable device come in. It drove it nice, but I would have wished for a bit more bass impact, which I think is probably a power requirement, which the Mojo might not be able to produce, but that is fair enough. It's a portable device, and for that, I think you can't ask for more. The sound quality compared to other DAC amps that I have tried, I must say it is up there. There is nothing much that I have experienced personally that comes close to the organic and natural sounding music quality that this little thing is producing. The iFi IDSD Micro is very close to it, but of course it is less portable. It's a bit bigger, a bit like that, and it has more power though, but it's less portable. While the iFi IDSD Micro can also drive planar magnetics very, very nicely because it's up to 4,000 milliwatts of power, it is more a bit like a semi-stationary device. I wouldn't necessarily use it on the go because it's just too big. A Mojo, though, is portable, and for everything that you want to use portably, like headphones, like I think a maximum of a PM3, that is something that you can still use portable because they're closed. It is lovely, and it brings you absolutely high-class quality that you usually have to spend way more money for a good DAC and amp for a very, very good price. So, to conclude my Mojo review, the Mojo is a fantastic device. If you don't plan on driving really energy hungry and power hungry big planar magnetics, the Mojo is the way to go. It's an amazing DAC and amp, and I'm probably getting one, and I might even use the DAC as a line out for my home setup, because I found the Chord Mojo to produce such a lovely, detailed, musical and enjoyable sound that I think I can use it as a DAC, exchanging or replacing the DAC that I have at home. So it's a great device. For the price, is pretty amazing. Here's an example of how you can stack it for portable use. Just put it together like this, and then there are little rubber bands specifically for this purpose, which you can just pull over here and connect it with your device. You need to find, of course, a place where you're not pushing the buttons automatically. That's possible. And that's it, with a nice connection here via optical. In this case, for the AK100, you have a beautiful little stack that you can use portably, easy to carry. It's a bit on the heavy side, but it's still better than many other solutions. There you go, fantastic quality with in a very small package. Thank you for watching, and check it out, the Mojo, amazing piece of kit. Thanks.